Ah, joy. Just sat in the car and it's chucking it down with rain. I've got an umbrella, so I can, if it doesn't ease off, I'm covered, but literally covered. Um, God, what a strange time. It's interesting actually because the royal family is one of those things where everyone's got their opinion, and you're not going to change anyone's mind, and everyone will find their own facts to back up their belief, right? So there's no point going into that. There really isn't. Um, but the thing I'm finding odd is I'm not like a royalist, but I'm not against them either. I'm like fine with them existing, doesn't offend me. Um, you know, so, but I'm not like I'm not like into it. I don't buy souvenirs. I don't try and watch weddings and whatever. I just let it happen. Um, but I found yesterday, once all the news sort of started changing at about midday, I found I was actually getting quite upset about it. Um, I did not expect to feel that way, so that was quite a surprise, really. Um, and Kay and I was at Kay's and we sat and watched it, and we were both saying the same thing: is that we would never have considered ourselves the people who'd be bothered, but suddenly we were. I think that's part of the nature of grief. I've been thinking about it a lot, obviously, and I think there's a certain amount of just the weight of history. It is part of it because just whatever else you might think, and that's fine. But I would say that I think how you react and what you say in times like this will say an awful lot about you if you're suddenly outpouring bitterness and hate. So just bear that in mind. It's not a good look on anybody. It's a real situation of if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. I think because a lot of people, it's something that does matter to a lot of people. It's like bad comparison. When Neighbours got cancelled, a lot of people were upset about that. Obviously, not enough people, otherwise it wouldn't have been cancelled because they'd still be watching. But I wasn't going to turn around and slag anybody off for still being a Neighbours fan because what's it to do with me? But I think when I look at the Queen, well, for a start, that's it. Wherever you go in the world, and there are many queens, thanks to RuPaul these days, many queens in the world. But you say the Queen, and one face for most people on the planet came to mind, just because of who she was and what she'd done. And that's enormous. You can't ignore that. We still talk about and teach in schools and do projects for 8-year-olds or whatever on William the Conqueror, Henry VIII and his wives, people who achieved a fraction in absolutely a fraction of the time that Liz was the Queen, which incidentally she also didn't ask for. She was never meant to be Queen. And then 70 years, she's the longest reigning monarch in the world in recorded history. I think it's something like she met 14 US presidents, which they reckon nobody else can have done because nobody's even worked in the White House that long. So there's just, and she just seemed like a nice person on the whole. I'm sure, I'm sure there are things about everyone that aren't nice. I mean, everyone, me, you, everyone, right? So let's not get deluded about that. But generally, to her, her face she presented the public was geniality and kindness, and that's exactly what everyone should put forward. I think part of the weirdness for me, Paul's winding me up. Apparently, I've killed the Queen. That's the thing, right? Allegedly. We sat watching the Sunday parade of the Jubilee, and she came out onto the balcony in that very green outfit, and I took one look and went, give her 3 months. And it's almost 3 months to the actual day. So apparently I cursed the Queen. So just to the entire world, I would like to say, I'm sorry, I didn't realise I was that fucking magical and powerful. But, you know, watch yourself, bitches, because clearly. Yeah. So anyway, where was I going with this? Sat there. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I mean, it was, you know, I wasn't bothered about the Jubilee. I didn't watch most of it. I sort of watched bits and pieces. And yeah, it was nice. It was fun. It was a good thing. I think it was a nice thing for a lot of people. It was, but I wasn't hugely bothered. But when I look at the Queen, I think it's my last real link to my grandparents, because they were her generation. My granddad's birthday is sometime around hers, if I remember correctly, because there was always some sort of joke when I was a kid that me and my granddad had this weird link to the Queen. We were like, you know, buds or whatever, because his birthday was around her birthday, and her second birthday that she would choose would normally be the same week as mine, like the closest Friday to my birthday generally, you know. So sometimes it fell on my birthday, but it just became a bit of a thing. But they were, you know, her generation. They were that generation. They were street parties and bunting, and they sort of, you know, were like war spirit and all of that. And because as a child growing up with my grandparents heavily involved in my life, this is on my mother's side now, you know, Silver Jubilee 1977, I lived in their house. We had a street party. That's something I massively associate with them. Christ, the Golden Jubilee was the 2002. That was, you know, my nan had less than a year to go at that point. Fucking, if we'd known that then. Christmas, Queen's Speech. You know, that's it. We're not going to get a Queen's Speech at Christmas anymore. So many of us have only ever known her as a monarch. You know, how many people, what would you have to be, 73, 74 plus, realistically, to have memories of King George? So you've only known a Queen, the Queen. It's just, the weight of this is enormous on all of us, regardless of your opinions. It's just a huge moment in history, and I think you've got to take it for what it is, and do the whole I was there. You know, it's where were you when Kennedy was shot? Well, we're not born, frankly. Where were you when you heard about Diana hungover? Where was I when I heard the Queen had actually passed? Driving around the Abercunham roundabouts. it's just ridiculous when I say it out loud. But yeah, I mean, that's where I was going with the Jubilee thing. I've remembered now. I said then, and this sounds terrible now in light of things, but I can't wait for her to die. Not as in I can't wait for her to die because I wanted to die, but because I was really intrigued to see what this moment in history felt like. I was like, this is going to be enormous, and fingers crossed I get to live through it. Well, frankly, I lived for another 3 months and did, and am living through it. And, you know, now we go on holiday tomorrow. We go to Florida, and it's, you know, it's not going to impact, you know, Disney's not going to shut. As far as we can see, the airline isn't going to close or anything. But we're going to go out to America as 3 British guys, and I can't imagine we're going to go anywhere without someone asking us about this. It's going to massively mark the holiday, not ruin it, not taint it in any way, but it's going to hang over like a shroud almost. Because we're going to get asked. We absolutely 100% are going to get asked about the Queen as soon as people clock the accent. And that's fine. You know, I'm here for it. Great. I wanted to experience this change, this enormous flux. You know, we've never had king. We're gonna have King Charles. He's 73. You know, please, whoever's in charge of such shit, I will probably live to see King William, and that'll be it. I shouldn't see beyond that, because, you know, I'm 51 now. I've probably got 30 years. Let's say Charles. I mean, if Charles manages 25 years to his mother on the throne, you know, it's actually, yeah, I might be cutting it to see King William. Anyway, But it's just huge. I just think you should, regardless of your opinions of the royal family, you should take a moment in history for what it is and appreciate that, and just be a bit respectful to the people that it does mean something to. Because just because it doesn't mean anything to you doesn't mean you've got to be a dick about it. It really doesn't, does it? I mean, come on. You know what? I think actually, not above all else, but a key thing for me, everyone's got that story of a relative who hung in to see a baby born. We've got a story like that in our family. Or a birthday party or a wedding or something, and there was somebody who was, just awful, dying, wasted away, gone, but just hung in there that couple of months or whatever, against all odds, to see that event and then go. And the Queen did the same thing. She hung in there to see the back of Boris Johnson, give him the keys, take the keys to number 10 off him and tell him to fuck off. And for that alone, you've got to give her a bit of love, surely.